Good morning, everyone. Morning, morning, morning. Anybody there? Oops, just turned my tablet off. That wasn't a good start. Anyone there? If you are, say hello. Just doing a bit of sharing. Doop doop doo. How are we all doing today? Oh, it's a bit slow this morning. Is nobody on? Nobody want to see my demo? Are you all outside in the sun? Oh, Alison's here. Hello, Alison. How are you? I've had to put my iPad a bit further away today so I don't splash it. So hopefully I'll still be able to see all your comments. Morning, Janice. How are you? Hello, Beverly. It's just me this morning. Just me on my lonesome. Ian's had to... Oh, he's rushing around again like a crazy thing. Yeah, he's got to take his sister to the doctor's to have a test or something, and his auntie Sandra's not very well this morning, so he's had to pop down a bit earlier to see her. So yeah, it's all a bit crazy this morning. Yeah, so we're not too bad, thank you, Alison. Morning, Dawn. Another beautiful day in sunny Wales. I'm sure lots of you are dying to see me have a bit of a play with the Pixie powders this morning. I had to pick up a few new colours yesterday as well from the shop, because I didn't really have a blue and I didn't have a silvery colour, so I got a pewter and an aqua lagoon. Aqua lagoon is lovely. Oh, can't wait to try that. It's a bit like it's probably going to be similar to the teal. That was teal wash on there, but it'd be nice to see what the difference is, because it should be more of a bluey blue. Oh, good morning, everyone. Hi, Carolyn. How are you? Good morning, Christine. How is everyone? Are you all well? And don't forget, if you can share this live for me, that would be marvellous. So all you need to do is just click the little share button at the bottom and then share it on your own timeline. You don't have to write a post, just click share. If you are members of any crafting groups, if you can share it into a group, that would be fabulous too. Good morning, Deborah. How are you? And if there's any comment, if any questions or anything you want to see again, or anything I haven't shown you that you want to see, then let me know. So we're up and down a bit this morning, but let's crack on anyway, because a lot of people watch back on replay later. Sue Harvey is one of those. So hello Sue, if you're watching this later. Hello. Be nice if you can join us live, but if not, it's not a problem. So hello to everyone. It's me on my own at the moment because Ian's out rushing around doing errands for people. But I'm going to be doing some playing with Pixie powders this morning. Pixie powders, Aurora Flakes, and a couple of other bits and bobs as well. So, I did a load of backgrounds on Sunday. So I've got, this is one of the backgrounds I did. I used the teal wash, the sun yellow, I think I used the midnight sky, and a bit of white pearl in there as well. So I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I haven't got my light on yet either. If I turn my light on, will that make a difference? Ooh, that might make a bit of a difference. It might make it shine a bit better. So that was that one. I've also done another one here. It's just a case of messing around, basically. This was sun yellow, rich gold, and white pearl. I'm telling you about white pearl, but white pearl is out of stock at the moment, so we did try and order some more with Creative Expressions, but it was out of stock, I'm afraid. This one was another one I did. This one was a slightly different technique, as you can see. It's a bit more subtle. So I'll show you how to do that. I think I probably used Scarlet Mist, teal wash, and probably a bit of the rich gold in there as well. And then this one, this was a bit of an experiment, this was, because this is on our 350g super smooth card. It's the card that we sell in the shop in packs. We sell it in different thicknesses, 120 up to 350g. It's really good card for printing on, and also for using your alcohol pens on. So I thought I would try it with Pixie powders, but because Pixie powders you need quite a lot of water, this is how it came out. It's not too bad, but it doesn't sort of spread out as much as watercolour card does. These ones were done on watercolour card. So this is the watercolour card that we sell in the shop in packs of, I think it's 10 sheets. It's the Crafter's Companion one that we sell. Oh, 15 sheets. Yeah, 15 sheets apparently. So if anyone is interested in any of the products that I'm talking about, there is a link at the bottom that I've pinned that will take you straight to the website, straight to the category for all the product, or for a lot of the products that I'm using today. If you can't find anything, just type it into the search bar in the top, yeah, and it'll be on YouTube, and the link will be on there as well. All right, so that was on the 350g super smooth card. So it does come out quite nice, but it doesn't sort of spread as nicely. Still get a nice sheen on it, obviously, because the Pixie powders have got mica in them. But it doesn't spread out and give the same sort of burst effect. It tends to hold on to the mica powders a bit more. So I'll scrap that one, put that over there, because these ones are much nicer. So I'm going to show you how to do a basic background using the pigment Pixie powders first of all. So let's crack on with that. I'm running out of room already. So the other thing that is always a good idea to do, I'll use that side because it's a bit cleaner, is good morning, Melanie. How are you? Yeah, it's always a good idea. Oh, I haven't shown you that, have I? To work on a slightly bigger piece of card than you're going to need. So if you're only going to need a square, then work on an A4 sheet. I've done backgrounds for 8x8 cards, I think it is, on our big SRA 3 sheets that we sell in the shop. So you can use that card as well. It's not the watercolour card, but it does work just as well. So it's the pick and mix card that we sell in the shop in A4 and SRA 3 sizes. So you can do a big sheet and then you can just cut it down into lots of different things if you wanted to. So you don't have to just do one background for one card, you know, which is a good thing. So this card, well, this topper thing that I've done, is actually the other half of this. So I shall show you that in a bit. So it's a bit more subtle than some of these. These ones you tend to get a stronger effect, which actually I quite like. I think I prefer the stronger effect. But I'll show you how to do both techniques anyway. And then all I've done is I've stamped around the edge. I've stamped my little fairy there. I've coloured her in with Pixie powders as well, because you can actually use Pixie powders to colour in. And what I use, oh, I don't think I've put these on the website, but they should be on the website. These are the little plastic palettes, and basically you can just have your Pixie powders in each of the wells and just leave them in there. So they'll dry out, as you can see, they all dried. They're all completely dry. And then to reactivate them, you just give them a couple of spritzes of water and it will reactivate them. So you don't have to clean the palettes out or worry about waste or anything like that. So, you know, they'll last you for probably a lifetime. So, yeah, so all I did was I spritzed the water to reactivate it, and then I used just a fine a fine brush to paint the features in on my little fairy. So she shimmers as well, little shimmering fairy. But yeah, you can use them for all sorts of different techniques. And then this round down here, this is using the Aurora Flakes. Ooh. We've just had some more of these in as well. So they're all on the website. I think they're on the link that I put at the bottom. This one is called Icy Pink. And the difference between Aurora Flakes and Gilding Flakes is that Gilding Flakes tend to be, Ian's got a pot of them here, they tend to be more natural colours. So it's just the flakes are burned in different ways to give different sort of tones of browns and golds and silvers and things like that. But you're quite limited with the colours on that. I mean, if that's what you like, then go for it, you know, because Gilding Flakes are lovely. But the Aurora Flakes, if I bring my little pot over, nobody breathe. And you can breathe again. And I'm still covered in it. So the Aurora Flakes, they do seem to be a little bit finer. They are smaller flakes compared to the Gilding Flakes, but that's not a problem. That's fine. And you can obviously get different colours like pinks and blues and greens and purples and much stronger colours compared to the Gilding Flakes. So that's what I've done in the corner there. So I'll show you a bit of that as well. And then I've just inked around the edge, done a bit of darkening just to give it a bit of extra dimension. Yeah, so that's that. So you can have lots of fun with these, all sorts of different things you can do. And as I said, I've also already got Gilding Flakes all over the place. So and I've got my trusty cloth, which is my go-to. so I don't have to use nasty baby wipes, because we don't like baby wipes because they're not very good for the environment. So all I do is, if I need to clean anything, I use my spritz bottle with some water in it and a cloth. So yes, thank you, Mel. We're fine. We're still kicking. Still locked down. We've got no plans of going back into the shop yet. So it'll be at least another 3 weeks, I think. Maybe more. And then we'll review the situation and see if we can open it up safely with while still maintaining a bit of distance, because we don't want to rush back. I think England are silly for rushing back too early. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? Thank you for my lovely candles. Anyone that doesn't know Michelle, she runs a company called Sweet Betty Candles, and she's just brought out some lovely aromatherapy candles, which came in the post this morning. So I'll just go and grab them. Blatant plug here. Yeah, Sweet Betty candles. They're soy wax candles, so they're good for the environment. They are lovely. This is the de-stress one. She does an uplift. There's a sleep one, and then invigorate as well. I think these ones are the 100 milliliter candles. Really lovely candles they are. I highly recommend them. I've tried all sorts of other candles, and these are the best. Really good value, and they smell lovely, and the scent lasts for ages. So yeah, Sweet Betty Candles, have a look at them. They're on Facebook, and she's got a website as well. So blatant plug over. Let's move on. Good morning, Gaynor. How are you? Right, so there's two ways you can work with Pixie powders. You can either put the Pixie powders on first of all, and then spritz your card with water, or you can spritz your card first of all and then put the Pixie powders on afterwards. I prefer to do it that way, so I tend to spritz my card first of all and then put the Pixie powders on, because then you get an instant reaction. You can see exactly what's happening live, as it were. So whereas the other way, you put your Pixie powders on and then you spritz, and you might blow them around a bit and you might not get the look that you're looking for. So all I do is just put a couple of little pieces of tape, and this is the craft paper tape that we sell in the shop from Sticks 2. So it's not got any plastic in it, so it's better for the environment as well, and it works really well actually. You can reuse it for sticking things like this down. So I stick it down at the sides. Good morning, Deborah. I have already said good morning to you. You obviously missed it. Turn your hearing aid up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz my card and give it a good old spritzing. Obviously don't make it completely drenched, but give it a good spritzing, and then you can crack on with adding the Pixie powders. So I'm going to try the Lagoon, Aqua Lagoon, which is the new one I bought yesterday, or the other day. Yes, yesterday, wasn't it? And then all you tend to do, rather than thumping them out or trying to sprinkle it like you do with glitters, if you just tap the bottom, they'll start to come out. Ooh, they'll start to come out. And this is why I like to spritz the card first of all, because you can see exactly what is going on straight away. Love that colour. Ian's going to like that one as well. So that's Aqua Lagoon. What other colour should I go with? Let's try a bit of rich gold. This is our watercolour card gainer. So it's from Crafter's Companion, and it's the watercolour card that we sell in the shop. and I think you get 15 sheets in that. So that's what I'm using here. Give it a good old spank. And obviously you can build up the colours. But I'll sprinkle a bit of that on there now. And then shall I go for another colour? I think I might actually go for the pewter, which is the other new one that I got yesterday. Because I want to see what that looks like as well. Because we have got us, I think it's Silver Dream is the other one that we sell. But it's a bit of a dodgy lid on that. It should be right. Yeah, Silver Dream, but I think we've only got one of those in stock, so I didn't get that one because I thought I'll leave that for someone else just in case they want it. Because I'm good like that. So when you put these powders on, oh, that comes out a little bit of a purpley sort of colour. You don't have to go right to the very edges of your card. So then I put some more on, but then I'm just going to give it another spritz, because obviously not all of the Pixie powders activated, and you'll see that whenever you spritz, you'll see it start to burst. Ooh. And the reason I put the pieces of tape on the side is because obviously because it's watercolor card and you're putting water onto it, it is going to start bowing. So rather than have it bow really badly, I find that putting the pieces of tape at the sides just helps to keep it relatively flat and manageable, because I don't like it running to the edges too much. Ooh, so what do we think? That looks lovely, doesn't it? So then I'm just going to give it a quick blast with my heat tool to try and dry some of it off. The best thing to do, unless you want to move it around, because you can, as you can see, if I use the heat tool, I can push the powders around a little bit because there's quite a lot of water on there. So if you wanted to move things around a bit, you can do. The best thing to do though, obviously with this, is once you've spritzed it, you can give it a quick dry just to get the excess water away, and then just leave it to the side just to dry naturally. You can also give it a bit of a smudge as well with some kitchen towel if you think, oh, actually there's a little bit too much water on there. This one's not too bad actually. But you can just dab it a little bit with a kitchen towel just to get rid of some of the excess water. Does everyone like these colours? How many of you have got with Pixie powders already but have never used them? They're a brilliant product, really versatile. You can use them in so many different ways. And you get some really lovely effects, some nice, if you're into your fantasy, and I'm into fairies big time at the moment. So if you're into fantasy and fairies and, you know, mystical things and all that sort of stuff, then these sort of techniques are ideal for that. I think that's all dry as well, actually. I didn't go too over the top today, which is good. Well, so just wipe up some of the excess on my mat. And this mat that I'm using is the Hot Stuff mat that we sell in the shop. I wouldn't advise using, you could use a, if you've got a glass cutting mat, you could use that as well. I wouldn't advise using your rubber cutting mat or a blending mat because they're not heat resistant. So they might buckle a little bit, which you don't really want. So this one is fab for that because it's heat resistant, so it's not going to go anywhere. And you can do all your blending techniques on it as well, which is marvellous. So there we are. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's the thing. You get, this is 3 colours I think I used on this. So blue is the main colour, and then I've used the silver and the pewter, the pewter and the rich gold as the other 2 colours. But you get a lovely effect, you know, and you can see, and every time you do it, it'll be different as well. Yeah, because let's compare it to this was the teal wash. Teal wash, sun yellow, and white pearl, I think it was on that one. Oh, and midnight sky, which is the black blobs. Yeah, so this one is definitely bluer. I think Ian's going to love that one because he loves his blues, his pale blues. Yeah, so then all you need to do is leave that to the side just to dry thoroughly, because obviously it's still not completely dry, and then you can crack on with your different techniques. You can cut it up, cut it into strips, you can just cut out the middle if you wanted to. You could cut it in half and then make 2 cards. That would be nice, wouldn't it, actually? Yeah, so all sorts of different things. So that's that. And then I also said I was going to show you the technique about making it a bit more subtle. So I shall do that now. Ooh, you can cut flowers out of it as well. Yeah, oh, God, can you imagine? Oh, you'll have to have a go, Christine. Good fun, not too messy. And you can make some, you can't go wrong with it. Hence the reason I'm doing a Facebook Live on it. Boom, boom. Oh, Deborah's used them. Fab. Made some flowers and sprayed with gold pixie powder and they turn out lush. Oh, wow, I bet they did. Yeah, because that's the thing. You can die cut that sheet and die cut lots of flowers as well. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? That would be really effective, actually. Why didn't I think of that? Damn. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on an A5 sheet. I've got 2 A5 sheets here. And then I'm going to do more of a subtle finish. So that was like, if I show you this one, and my card that I did. The finish is a bit more subtle compared to the finish that you get when you just do it like I've just shown you. Still really lovely, but it's a bit more subtle. So I'll show you how I did that now. So again, just going to stick a bit of tape just on the edges, and this is the same piece of tape I'm reusing. Because why chuck it out when you can reuse it? Can you use it in the flower foam? I don't think so, Gainer. Because these react with water. And I don't know if you can really put water on flower foam. I don't know, I'll have to try that. What's the worst that can happen? But no, I don't know if it would because you've got to spritz the water on the over the top of the pixie powders to activate them, or underneath, whichever. So again, I'm just going to spritz my sheet, and then I'm going to go Which colour shall I go for this time? What did I want? I did blue, pink and gold on that one, so I need to do something different. Well, that was the teal, wasn't it? I'll use the Aqua Lagoon again, I think, especially because I've got a little blob on there already. So, and the thing about the Pixie powders as well is that you'll get the main colour, which in this case is the Aqua Lagoon, but you'll also get some other colours appearing as well. So every so often you'll see a little burst of something else appear. So that's that. I might do the same actually, so use the pewter. Like that. And then the rich gold is what I used on the last one, wasn't it? So lob a bit of rich gold on there. And you can go random, you can put them in specific places if you think, right, I want a bit of gold in a certain place, then you can do that. But random is quite nice. So that's that. Make sure it's nicely spritzed. And then I'm going to take my second sheet of white card and I'm going to put it straight on the top of my first sheet while it's still wet. Press it down gently. And then lift that off. Oops. Ooh. There we are. And then you end up with more of a subtle finish, but you get a twofer for this. So you get a slightly different effect. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Yeah. You know, you've got all sorts of different interesting things in there. And then all I need to do is just dry those. Bottom sheet is going to be a bit wetter. If I try and move that around a bit. Just to blur it a bit. Ooh, yeah, I don't think I haven't got a purple. Deborah, that's a shame, isn't it? I love purple as well. Got Scarlet Mist, but not a purple. That'll be my next one, I think. So I do love a bit of purple. So what are our plans for today, everyone? What are we going to be doing? Anyone getting out in the garden? Ooh, or are you going to be doing some crafting? That gold has come out stunning on that. Ooh, I do like that. Just give this one a quick blast. This one is going to be a bit drier because it's the printed one that I lifted off. So it's just pulled off the, mainly just pulled off the Pixie powder. So there's not so much water on this one. But as you can see, really easy and really quick to do some really nice backgrounds for cards. And then if you wanted, you can make flowers out of them, you can cut them up, you can leave it as just a background and then stamp over the top of it. You can cut it up into squares and then put that onto a card. You know, there's all sorts of different options. And it's all dry now. There we are. So this one was my original one. Quick dry. Oh, Deborah's going to make some more cards in her craft room. Because Deborah can get into her craft room. Lucky old Debbie. Alright, so that's the first one that I did. Nice big blob of sort of gold mixed in with the other colours there. You know, so you can choose which way around you wanted that, or you can just cut it down to a certain size. And then this is the second one that I did, which is obviously a bit subtler, although there's still quite a big blob at the top there, but it's a bit more subtle down the bottom. But it just goes to show how far these Pixie powders go. You know, they're going to last you for years. I mean, we've got bottles that we've had since we first bought them, and we're probably about maybe a quarter of the way down some of them. There we are, so that's those. Very true, Michelle. Yeah, that's the thing. You don't have, you could just stick that in a frame, cut it down, stick it in a frame, put a nice sentiment across it, or some flowers out of another piece, coordinating piece, stick it in a frame and sell it. Marvellous. Or do colours to coordinate your dining room or your lounge or something, because those colours are similar to our yeah, tealy sort of bluey colours are in our lounge, so yeah, that might be nice. So, what else am I going to do? I'm going to show you some other techniques as well. I'll show you the Aurora Flakes. So if I show you the Aurora Flakes on one of these pieces that I've done, that would be good, wouldn't it? So, Aurora Flakes, I grab them over here. What the bare essentials for using Aurora Flakes or gilding flakes, any type of flake. You'll need obviously your flakes. You'll need a sticky glue. So this is the Flake and Glitter Glue by Cosmic Shimmer. This is the one that we sell in the shop. This is the small size, which is 30 millilitres, and then we also sell a larger one. I don't know what size it is, but we sell the larger one as well. The nice thing about this one is it does have like a blue tinge to it when it goes on, so you can still see the glue after you've stamped it or applied it, however you're going to do it. So shall I stamp or shall I go around the edge? No, I think I'll stamp. Yeah, so that's the glue that I'm using. I know we did used to sell an indigo blue similar glue, flake glue. Can't remember what it's called now. So you may have a pot of that lying around in your craft room somewhere. But this is the one that we sell now in the shop. And you will also need either a foam, you need a hard foam thing like this. This one is, I think, one of the old Scoochy foams that we had from Indigo Blue. We do sell something called Rub It Scrub It. We sell them in little blocks. I think they're like 30p a block or something like that. So they are on the website. If you click down on the link at the bottom, it'll take you to that. So you will need something like that just to get rid of any excess flake. Who's angry? And that's more or less it. The only other thing I'm going to use one of these sponge things. You can use a smoothie or something like that, just to apply the glue to my stamp. So I'm going to use, which stamp shall I use? No, you can't use any other glue, so you can't use like a normal PVA or high-tech glue or anything like that. It's got to be a glue that is designed to be used with flakes. So flake and glitter glue, or the indigo blue one. I don't know if there's any other makes out there, but it's not the same effect if you just use a normal PVA glue. So I'm wondering about this actually. Anyone that's got this magazine, this was the Crafters Inspiration magazine, issue 83 I think it was. We've just sold out of it, so if you were lucky enough to get it, it's a lovely stamp set. And I'm just going to put that onto my block, although that one's a bit small, so I might have to use my bigger block. So I'm just going to stick that on there. You don't need to worry about using a stamping tool, press to impress, or anything like that, because it's it's just quite a quick and basic thing. So which way should I put it on? Put it down the bottom, or down that way? I think down that way, because it's a bit plainer down the bottom. So, I've got my flakes already decanted into a plastic container. It's always a good idea to decant them because obviously these pots are quite small, and to try and get those flakes back into there is going to be a bit of a nightmare. So it's always going to be easier if you can decant them into a plastic container first of all. And it's a good excuse to have a Chinese then, or Indian or whatever. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my glue, and I'm going to squeeze it out onto my blending mat. If I can get it to come out, there we are. And then I'm just going to use my little sponge as a bit of an ink pad basically. So get this glue onto there and then just lightly tap all over my stamp, and I don't know if you can see, but the glue does have a bit of it's like a purpley bluey sort of tinge to it, so you can see it as it's going onto your stamp. And then the important thing to remember, which I didn't the first time I did it, was it's not like stamping normally. You have to be quicker. So if I stamp that down there, so basically position it where you want to put it, push it down, and then lift it up more or less straight away. Don't do like you would with a normal stamp and give it a good push, and make sure that the ink is soaking into the card and all that sort of stuff, because you'll find that because it's a glue, it will start, well, either your stamp will stick to the card, or when you lift the stamp off, it'll take half the card with it, which you don't want. So I'm just going to get some more of the glue. Obviously, because it's a glue, it's a slightly different process. But the thing to remember as well about this glue is it stays tacky until you add something to it. So you can leave it, as long as you haven't got any cats or dust, you can leave it in its stamped state for months, if you wanted. Not that you would, but but you can leave it for a long time, so you don't have to rush and think, oh God, you know, I need to get my flakes over the top of it now. You can take your time, because it'll just stay tacky until you're ready to put your flakes, or you could put glitter over the top as well. Because it's tacky, it'll hold the glitter as well. So I can't really see it very well. Where did I go? I went to about there, didn't I? So let's try to about there. There we are. So lift that off. Very hard to see, and I can't even see it either. But the other thing, the important thing to remember is once you've finished using the glue, obviously put your lid back on, and then make sure that you clean your sponge and your stamp straight away. Because it's a glue, you don't want it to stick. And ruin your sponge or whatever. But because you stamped and it'll stay tacky, you don't have to worry too much about applying your flakes or your glitters straight away. So there's no hurry. Morning, Maria. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And then what I would normally do is run that under the tap. In fact, I might just go and give it a quick run under the tap just to make sure that the glue has all come out of the little crevices. Because if it dries in there, it's going to end up ruining the imprint of your stamp, which you don't want. So, talk amongst yourselves for 2 seconds while I just go and give this a quick rinse. Now that's that done. Ooh. Ah. So now comes the fun bit. Make sure my hands aren't wet, otherwise I'll end up with gilding flakes stuck all over my fingers. La la la. And then all I need to do is just sprinkle the flakes lightly over the area. I've stamped. Work them around a bit. A clump there. I just need to use my little scoochie. Just move them around a little bit, get rid of the excess. These do make a little bit more of a mess, I have to say. It's unavoidable, I'm afraid, because they're quite staticky as well, so Oh, and they've actually stuck to my map where I missed a bit then, obviously. Just goes to show how good that glue is. So that's looking a right mess, as you can see. But then all you need to do is just use your scoochie or rub it, scrub it, whichever, and just in circular motions, whatever, just go over the area lightly, and then that will just burnish it and will just tidy all those little rough bits up and bring out all of the detail in the stamp. And it's surprising how much detail you actually get, because you wouldn't have thought that you would get that much detail from something like that, but yeah, you do get, it does pick up a lot of detail. I'm going to have to get my vacuum cleaner out afterwards, because this is all over the place. Oh, I was looking for my other scoochie foam earlier, it's probably in there. No wonder I couldn't find it. Well, so I'm now completely covered in Aurora Flakes. Things I do, for my craft. There we are, so I shall just clean some of this up a little bit. Let's give it a spritz with some water. Good old spritzer bottle. I think this cloth might need a clean as well afterwards. So I should just sweep that to the side, so it's out of the way. There we are. Grab a bit of kitchen towel. Just tidy that up a bit more. Ooh, isn't that lovely? Can you see that? Hopefully you can. So you've got a really nice mix of the silver and the pinky sort of colours in the Aurora Flakes there. This one was the icy pink that I used on that. It looks really nice actually with on the blue. Nice contrast. Well, so it gives it a nice, well, I quite like that actually, it's a nice base to that card. Excuse me. Marie is asking what glue was used. The glue was the Flake and Glitter glue by Cosmic Shimmer. You need a glue that is designed to be used with flakes because it's designed to stay sticky. So you can stamp with it, and you could use your smoothie and go around the edges of a card as well. That would be nice, and then pour the flakes around it, and then that will give you a nice frame. So yeah, there's all sorts of different things you could use. You could also use it with double-sided adhesive sheets. So if you've got any double-sided adhesive sheets, or who keeps saying they're angry? Who's angry this morning? Oh, you're just pressing the wrong button. So you can use double-sided adhesive sheets, or you could also use just double-sided tape. You could put double-sided tape around the edge and then put the flakes onto that and then burnish them, and that will give you a nice clean border as well. Yeah, so that's the Flake and Glitter Glue by Cosmic Shimmer. Not to be confused with the PVA glue that Cosmic Shimmer does, whatever. Yeah, so that's the glue that we sell in the shop. There's a link at the bottom of the of this live as well, if anyone's interested. And I know Indigo Blue do a similar glue. I'm not sure who else does. Okay, so that's showing the Aurora Flakes, what you can do with them. Then I'm also going to show you a resist technique. So if I grab another piece of card. Another bit of card. I'm going to be finding gilding flakes for days probably now. So I think this one I'm going to cut down a little bit as well. So I'm going to cut this in. I do like square cards. So I'm just going to cut this down to 210 by 210. And then I'm going to work on this. So because I want to do a resist technique, what am I going to use? I'm going to use some clear embossing powder, and I'm going to use a watermark ink pad. This is the Versamark. This is Ian's Versamark, which is in a bit of a state. Could really do with a new one. We can't actually get the Versamarks anymore, but we do have the Spectrum Noir watermark ink pad. So they're the same sort of oval ink pads like these ones, but it's just the watermark one. Oh dear, excuse me. So I need to do the resist before I put the Pixie powders on, otherwise there's nothing to resist to. So I'm going to... I was going to ink around, but do I ink around or do I just stamp? I think I might just stamp actually. Or should I stamp? I've got some nice Sentimentally Yours stamps here. These are ones I've used before. This is from the Life Quotes Extras Textures stamp set. I think on this card, wherever it was, yeah, this one I actually used that on the with the Aurora Flakes. I actually used the blobs there. But I'm going to use, shall I use the swirls? Because if I show you the one that I did do the resist on, I think it was the yellow one. Yeah, it's not, you don't get a really strong defined resist, and I don't even know if you'll be able to see it on this, but on this one I actually used the stars stamp as the resist. You can maybe be able to see them up there, and then I stamped all the way over that, and then I put my Pixie powders on the top, and it does, you can maybe see it over there as well, it does resist the Pixie powders, obviously, and it just gives it another little bit of a, it's quite a subtle finish, and I don't even know if you'll be able to see it or not. You may be able to. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. So, oops. So I'm just going to stamp around and then do a bit of heat embossing. So I'll grab my piece of paper as well, so I'm all prepared. And then I'm just going to definitely need a new ink pad, I think, because this one is getting really old. Might just do the corners actually on this. And then this is the Detail Clear embossing powder. So with this you have got to be a little bit quicker because it's just a sticky ink. It's not like the sticky glue, so you do need to make sure that you work fairly quickly so it doesn't dry too much. Yes, I quite like that actually, just the corners is quite nice. Do that corner there. Anyone got any questions? Anything they are not sure about? No, so that's that. Sprinkle my embossing powder over the top. There we are, that's lovely. Probably should have used, well, it doesn't matter actually, could have used my anti-static pad, but it's going to be quite a rough finish anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much on this. And then I'm just going to give that a quick blast with my heat tool, just to emboss that. I don't know if any of you have seen the videos that we shared of Hazel from Dragon's Papercraft. She's been posting quite a few videos on lately of different cards that she's been making, and she's been using the Julie Hickey stamps, some really nice flower design stamps, and I did actually place an order for some of her stamps yesterday. There's she's got a new release coming out, I think it's around about the 21st, so I've ordered some of those, and I've also ordered some of the ones that Hazel's used in her card making demos as well, because they're really nice. I'm not usually one for flowers, but there's some really nice flower designs in that, and some nice versatile, very versatile stamps, and they do look like they are lovely. So there we are, so that's just embossed my corners, which looks lovely just like that, doesn't it? So then I'm going to stick my tape just on the edges again. This has buckled a little bit, obviously, because it's been heat embossed already. So that, just hold it there. Ooh, and which colours shall I use this time? I think I might go something a bit different this time. Any preference, peeps? Got Midnight Sky, Sun Yellow, Scarlet Mist, Rich Gold, Teal Wash, Pewter and Aqua Lagoon. That out the way. Give that a good spritz. Clean my stamp while I'm here as well. Oh dear, I'm getting covered in gilding flakes as well. They're all over the place. Haven't got any preference? Right, well I'll go for Scarlet Mist, I think. So make sure I get it into the corners this time, because obviously that's where the resist is going to be. Bit of sun yellow as well. Seems it's a nice sunny day today. So make sure I get that in the corners. And then a hint of Midnight Sky. Gainer says Midnight Sky. I'll show you what that one looks like as well. Midnight Sky is, it's sort of like a black, but it's, try and be a bit more subtle with that one as well. And that's the thing, you can be a bit more subtle if you don't want it to be too heavy. But no, that looks quite nice actually, doesn't it? Yeah, give it a bit more of a spritz again as well to activate those powders. Ooh, nice colours. Wow, look at that. And you can see where it's resisting on the corners there as well. Add a bit more because I can. Oh, it's gone quite orangey, hasn't it? Probably because it's got the pink and the yellow mixed in. And of course, if you wanted to, you can, if you go back to one of these that I did earlier, if I think, oh, actually, no, I want to put another layer on there. Once it's all dry, you can then re-spritz it and put some more Pixie powders on, and then it will give another layer. So you can build up layers as well. So I'm going to use my heat tool again to give it a bit of a dry. Take off some of the excess around the edges as well. And there shouldn't be any problems with burning your embossing powders or anything like that, because you're not going to be holding the heat tool directly over the embossed areas anyway, so it's not like you're trying to re-emboss. So it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I do like these colours. because that's the other thing as well with these, because they're water-based pigment inks, you can mix the colours as well. If you're into mixing your different colours together to make other colours, then obviously you can do that. And as you can see here, I've ended up with orange, even though I've only used yellow and scarlet mist. I do not quite like that actually. It's come out really well actually, the resist technique. I think it's come out a bit better than my original actually. Anyone got any questions? Any exciting news to share? Anything will be exciting these days though, wouldn't it really? Oh, I am liking that. Really liking the colours on this. So as I said earlier, you don't have to blast it for ages like I'm doing here. You can just give it a quick blast just to get some of the excess water out, and then just leave it to the side just to dry naturally. It's not a problem. The watercolour card is 300 gram. You need quite a, I would say I wouldn't go anything thinner than 300 gram. 300 gram is a nice sturdy weight. Yeah, so 300 gram, that's the watercolour card that we sell in the shop. So that's what I would go for. Oh, that's nice and dry now, so peel my tape off. And then it does leave a couple of little plain bits, but I can disguise that a bit later. So let me just give this a quick wipe. So it's not too much of a mess. And then, yeah, it was nice with the, just a little hint of the midnight sky, just goes nice with the black, with the yellow, doesn't it? As you can see, if you wanted to, you could buff up your resisted areas a little bit, just to make sure that they're clear of any excess powder, but I quite like it like that. I think it's quite nice and it's just nice and subtle. There we are. So you've got all the nice mica coming through again. Beautiful. Isn't that lovely? Do we like? Oh, Deborah's got a bottle of Tia Maria ready for Saturday. Yeah, because anyone that doesn't know, it's Eurovision on Saturday. The BBC are going to be doing Eurovision Come Together, they're calling it, on Saturday night at 6:30, 6:30? Or 8:30? 6:30, I think it is. So I'll be watching that. And as you can see, there's the swirls just in the corners, just to give it a little bit of an extra finish. Can I have some love, peeps? Give me some love, so I know you're all happy. What time is it? 12:15. So is everyone happy with Pixie powders? Thank you for the likes. Everyone know what they're doing with Pixie powders now, hopefully, because it's dead easy, nice and straightforward. And I think I'm going to have a bit of a play with this one now because I just think that is lovely. The colours on that are amazing. So then I'm just going to do a bit of stamping. And I'm going to, for this, I'm going to use my Press to Impress, because it's always a good idea to use a stamping tool when you're going to do any stamping, especially if it's silhouettes. And the nice thing about this Press to Impress as well is the fact that you can go off the edge. It's not got that, a lot of them have got the margins on all four sides or three sides, and so you can't extend your card, but this one you can, which is what I like. And I also put a little bit of tape on the flap as well, because the only thing I find awkward is trying to lift the flap up when it's open. So I've just put a little bit of tape on there just to give me a little handle. So it just makes it a little bit easier to lift it up. It's the simple things in life. I don't know what to do actually now with this. I really don't know what to do. Oh, I've taken the wrong one off now. Don't want that one, I want the other one. I do like these tree stamps. No, I did take the right one off. Did I take the right one off? Oh, dear. Yes. I'm going to do a tree. Just stamp a tree in the corner there, I think. So I'm going to use VersaFine, I think, for this, so I get a nice crisp, clear image. If anyone's interested in the Press to Impress, we have got some in stock at the moment, which is a miracle, because they've been out of stock for months and months and months. But they're back in stock again, finally. And the good thing about the Press to Impress is you can re-stamp. I think I'll leave it like that, and just nice and subtle. A quick wipe, just to keep it clean. Trusty old dishcloth, tea towel, whatever. Oh, glad you're enjoying it, Alison. Now, do I do a little house? Or is that going to look silly, do you think? I think I might need some... Just grab my stamp. The one that I cleaned earlier. Just give that a quick wipe, make sure it's dry. Could be like a sunset or sunrise on a forest, a mysterious forest somewhere, couldn't it? This, a little bit. Stick that up quickly. It looks nice, doesn't it? Do I do a little bit more or just leave it at that? I think I might leave it at that actually for the border. Let's give that a quick clean. Loads of mushrooms, or do I think that's going to be a bit silly? I don't want a house because that's going to look as if it's floating. I think what I might do if in doubt, stamps and butterflies. Right, I'll put a sentiment on it as well. It's always nice to have a sentiment. Where should I put that? Somewhere like there, I think. Is that lined up? Let me just have a quick look. I do like these stamps, these fairy stamps. There's another company that makes really nice stamps, is Lavinia Stamps. I'd love to get some Lavinia stamps, but their minimum is ridiculous. It's so much. I think their minimum to us is £250 plus VAT, and then if we want free delivery we've got to spend £300 plus VAT, which is just crazy. Normally our suppliers are around about 100, maybe 200 at the most, and that's usually with free delivery. So it's a huge commitment, a big chunk of our monthly budget. Hence the reason we've never bought any Lavinia stamps. And of course I need to put some fairies on there because it just has to be done. there's a bit of a bare space down there, so I think that'll fill that up nicely, won't it? I put those there. Yeah, the silhouette stamp. I do love silhouette stamps and the good thing about silhouette stamps as well is you don't need to colour them in. Because that's the whole point of a silhouette, is that it's just black. So you get all of the colour from your background then. Just give those a gentle push. And I'm going to give them another ink. Because they're silhouettes and because they're on my Press to Impress, I can do a second layer. And then restamp in exactly the same place. And then it'll give a bit of a stronger finish. To that. My fairies. Put them back on my sheet so I know where they are. And I don't really want to do too much more. I think the only other thing I might do is stamp some what are they called? Stars. So I'm going to stamp some stars onto this just randomly. Of course, my little fairies need some stars. Because that's their fairy dust. That's how they fly, you know. Try not to get ink all over my thing. Yeah. And then I'm just going to do some more of those. Just randomly around the place. Just to give it a bit more interest. Don't want to go too over the top. I think I stamped my sentiment a little bit wonky as well there. Hey-ho. So that's that. So then the only other thing I need to do, because I've obviously still got these little bare bits on the side, and it still looks, it just needs a little bit of definition. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a smoothie. This is one of the mini smoothies. We're just waiting for them to come in from Crafter's Companion. We have got the bigger size smoothies in, which are these ones. So they, as you can see, they're bigger. These are a nice size actually. These are nice and easy to hold as well. So those are the big ones, and those are the little ones. The mini smoothies, we're just waiting for them to come back in again. But I have ordered them and they've been dispatched, so they'll probably be in either today or tomorrow. And then I'm going to use, rather than using the VersaFine, I'm going to use the surprise, surprise, opaque pigment ink pad from Spectrum Noir. I love the opaque pigment ink pads, they are amazing. So this is the jet black one that I'm going to use here. And I'm just going to go around the edges. The reason I'm going to go around the edges with this is because this is a water-based ink pad. So it's going to be easier to clean my smoothie with a water-based ink pad rather than with the Versamark, which is an oil-based one. That's basically the only reason. That and the fact that I love the opaque ink pads, because they just give a really nice strong finish. And the smoothies work lovely with this sort of technique as well. They blend, because there's no hard edges on them, they just blend really easily. And the nice thing about doing this is if you do miss anything, any stamps, when you're stamping something and you miss something or it doesn't quite work, you can cover it up with a nice vignette, I think is the proper term. And it's like those bits with where I had the tape. Obviously you don't want to just leave them white. You can just cut it down if you wanted, just to make it a bit smaller in size. But I like doing this as well. It gives it a nice finish. And then just come in a little bit more around the edges and around the corners. And come in as much as you want really with this. If there's a certain area that you wanted to highlight particularly, then you can focus on that. You can build up your shading even more. And this actually brings out the embossed corners as well a bit more as well. Bring it up a little bit more there. What do I think of that? Yes, I think that's pretty good. Like I said, because these are opaque pigment ink pads, they're water-based, so it's easy enough to clean your smoothie. Just run it under the tap, and I just spritz that with some water, then I can just clean that off. Yes, if you wanted to, you could use a piece of card to mop it up and then, you know, make another background out of that, but I can never be bothered with that, I'm afraid. There we are. Right, Christine Clark, can you use sorry, don't know what they are called for blending the ones with the handles? Yeah, you can use, yeah, these are the smoothies, but you can use blending tools. We have got blending tools in the shop actually, or you may already have them. If you've already got them, the ones with the wooden handles, you can use those. I prefer to, if anything, I prefer to use the round ones that are a bit like that. They've got a round foam on them. because you're going to get a better. You do get you do get a little bit of a an edge, but as long as you're careful, you can blend it nicely. But the smoothies are fab because obviously they've got a more of a beveled, rounded edge. There's no hard lines on them at all, so that's why I tend to use the smoothies. But if you've got the blending tools, you can use those as well. No reason why not. Well, so that's not come out too bad, is it? And then what I might do as well is, because that was a water-based ink as well, it's just sort of sat on the top of the embossed piece. So if I just use my kitchen towel just to wipe off the ink off the top of the embossing powder, then that will bring that out as well. Oh, I can't use the smoothies. Is it because they're are they silicone based? Yeah, some people have got allergies to silicone, haven't they? So, yeah, no, you can use the blending tools, no problem at all. There we are. So, what's the time? 12:30, just gone. So that's the resist technique on the corners, and then I've added the Pixie powders over the top, and then done some stamping, and then inking around the edges as well. And all of the, if you can just about see it, all of the Pixie powder, the mica, is still showing through the ink that I've put around the edges as well, which is nice, isn't it? So that is just one flat piece of card, well, relatively flat piece of card. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could dimensionalize it a bit more, if that's a word. You know, if you wanted to raise the sentiment up on foam pads, you could do that. In fact, I might do that because, well, I'd have to do another piece, that's the only thing. I don't know, I'll have to see. Because it's a bit wonky. There we are. So that's that. So that was my original one that I did with the Aqua Lagoon, the pewter and the rich gold. Just spritzing and then putting the Pixie powder straight over the top on my watercolour card. This is the one that I did, the first one I did with the same colours, and then I just put this one on the top and then pull the print off, so that gives you a more of a subtle finish. Make something interesting out of that. And then I've got the Aurora Flakes stamped down the bottom, which looks quite nice. Looks really nice actually in that colour. And then we've got the resist technique using the embossing powder. So, anyone got any questions? I'm going to get the Pixie powders out again. Yep. That's the thing. Quite often you'll have something that you buy them and then you may use them once or twice, and then they'll be sat in a cupboard for ages, and you just need a little bit of a bit of inspiration, a bit of a push, just to get them out again and get going again. So that's the whole point of doing these Facebook Lives, is just to give you a bit of inspiration, give you an extra push to have a play. There we are. And then that was my first one that I did, my first sample. And then all I did with that, the only thing I haven't shown you is colouring with Pixie powders, but all you need to do is put some Pixie powders into a palette, spritz it with some water, and then just use your use a brush to just paint it on to whatever you want to colour in. So like I've done with the fairy here. And then just leave them in the palette to dry out. So these ones are all dried. I used some of these yesterday, but they're all dry. Not that you can tell because my fingers are dirty. And then when you want to reuse them again, just give them a couple of spritzes just to reactivate the powder, and then you can paint with them again. So you don't have to clean your palettes out afterwards, so there's no waste, which is always a good thing. Thank you, Tracy Beth. Glad you enjoyed. Thank you, Gaynor. Yeah, the resist technique, you can do that in all sorts of different things. It's not just with Pixie powders. You can obviously with inking. Yeah, there's all sorts of times you can use the resist technique, and it just gives you a nice, interesting finish. There we are. Everyone happy? So I'm gonna sign off for today, I think, and get ready for Eurovision on Saturday, which I can't wait for. You're welcome, Christine. Thank you for joining us, Michelle, as well. Yeah, you could frame that. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Don't forget Sweet Betty candles. She does some lovely smells. Really nice. She does candles, and she also does wax melts as well. And they're really nice, really good, and local. She's, I think, Merthyr, Michelle is based in. So yeah, support local. So Ian is going to be back on Friday at 2 PM. Not sure what he's doing yet. I think it's craft along this Friday as well. So so keep your eyes on Facebook, and there'll be some more news about what he's going to be doing on that. He'll put a list on Facebook as well of the sort of things that people need if they want to craft along as well. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. So stay safe, everyone. We'll be doing more Facebook Lives every Tuesday at 11 in the morning and every Friday at 2 in the afternoon, probably for at least the next couple of weeks. And our website is always open, so you can place orders on there either for contactless store pickup or delivery, and then we go into the shop every Monday from 10 to 12 to for the contactless pickups and to sort out any orders that we need to post out in the post or via courier, or to deliver locally as well. So take care, everyone. Thank you for joining me, and we shall see you all soon.